is Lawrence Ventura, also known as Punk Rock Skate Dad on Instagram if you're interested. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, I'd appreciate it. Today I'm going to go over my G.I. Joe aircraft carrier, also known as the USS Flagg. Now I'm not really going to do a review of the Flagg per se, considering you can find that anywhere on the internet. What I am going to do is I'm going to go over some of the modifications that I made. Raising it up, putting lights on it, so you can store stuff underneath it, because obviously the flight deck is not as big as we think it is. It only holds so many planes, and if you're like me and most people, I think you have a pretty big collection and you run out of room. So the best place to really store it is underneath the aircraft carrier. But what most people don't understand is there's only so much space underneath it, and there's no light. So we've all seen the modifications where people raise it up and they'll go through it and they'll show you and they put lights underneath it. But what I had a hard time finding was what to use and how to do it. So I'm going to quickly go over that, so if anyone wants to do it, they can get through it. It's actually rather simple. It took me less than a day to do everything, less than $100 to add lights and to raise it. I had a couple things already, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I've done so you can take a look at it, and then we're going to go over, and while I'm going through it, I will explain what I did to raise it, to put the lights on it, where to get the lights, and exactly how easy it actually is. So here we go. We're going to get into it right away, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope all you collectors are able to go out and find a way to raise your own flag, because it does make it 10 times better than what the regular flag is, which we already know is the greatest playscape of all time. Alright, so here we go. We're going to start off looking at the lights on the deck. Now, it wasn't as easy to find how aircraft carrier lights actually look, but I did. And I went with a modification of what they were. I figure for the most part you're not going to see this in the dark. So I just ran lights right down our track of where our aircraft would land. On an actual aircraft carrier, you'll actually see that they run completely around here. But due to the way the lights are and the stripping being white, I didn't want white all the way around. I thought that just wouldn't work out. But if you're like me, and you already know your stickers are pretty beat up, because this is my original flag, I figured, wow, I could put this right across here, and it actually fits in. Now, I ran it across the G.I. Joe on the back. I didn't go over the sticker here, but I ran it across here, and you're actually able to, let me turn these off for 1 second. You're actually able to bend them. So you can make a nice straight line in here. So that actually works out really good. Now, I got these off Amazon for $10, and they're a 16-foot strip. So you have more than enough room to run the whole thing, and there's actually 3M adhesive tape that peeled right off. Now, the difficult issue is if I ever have to take the aircraft carrier apart, I have to tear this off, and I'm going to have to order another strip. But for $10, it's worth doing, because I don't really plan on moving this anytime. So this was probably the easiest thing to do. It was the last thing that I had done. And I just ran it across here, and I did it within about an hour. And what's cool is you get this nice little remote. Now they're all different. I have 2 different types of LED. This one here, unfortunately, when I do turn it on, or if I decide to change the colors, it actually changes the bottom lights, which I'll get into in a little bit. But I can change the bottom lights with that remote control, and it doesn't affect the top. But here I have different colors, going back to the white, Here's your red. But what is cool is if you don't want it so bright, we can dim them. Where let's say you have this displayed somewhere else, where mine's displayed in my basement. If you have it displayed somewhere else, you can kind of keep it on and just keep a nice little light going when you have company over. All right. And here's your controller. This is a remote controller. I really haven't figured out how I'm going to run this one yet. I'm going to have to find a way to secure it up and fix my cables. But nonetheless, this is actually the easiest part. But again, due to the fact that I used the 3M tape on the back, when I peel it up, there's a good chance I'm going to ruin my stickers. Hopefully I won't. And I'm going to have to buy another strip. But once again, for $10, it's not like I'm pulling this apart that often. Now I will say, if you're going to do the lights, raising the deck, and the lights underneath it, do it all in one shot. Because I had to take this apart a few times, and it's just not a lot of fun. Alright? So, there's a little quick look at that. Now we'll get to the lights underneath it. Alright, so now let's talk about the lights underneath. Same thing, except this one actually has more. You really don't need to. This was a $15 or $16 strip of LEDs. You could probably use the same strip. Again, what's nice is that they control differently, so I'm not kind of stuck always having the exact same lights if I want it. I can have red, green, blue, and obviously the white. And I can lower it. Obviously this 16 strip or $16 one actually runs, it's a little bit better. It does have a flash if you want to do a flash mode. Your auto, and it will switch through the different ones. So that's kind of nice. This strip again is 16 feet, or just over 16 feet. And that's a lot of space. So I'm going to quickly go over this. So here, I ran this actually through the anchor bay, and I'll be coloring it soon. Kind of put the anchor on here. I'm going to lower this anchor to try and make it look the same. This right here is the optic sensor for your light, for your remote control. I ran it up through here. The lights are so long that I actually put the lights to wrap completely around here and into the underbody. So what I did do here is no tape or anything. I ran it underneath all the supports. For the most part, you can find them so it fits directly underneath when you pop up your little pegs, but that's where your problem comes, and this is why you want to do it all in one shot. I would say doing it at the same time that you raise the aircraft carrier. So you're going to route everything underneath here. As you can see, this one is hanging a little bit lower, but not bad. And not the easiest to walk around here. It ran across here. Now I ran it underneath the back of the boat to give me some light. So if I want to put figures back here, we can do that. Came across here. One of the things that you're going to have to do is remove the bridge so you can put it right up underneath. We're still not going to have lights is in this compartment here. Now there's two ways to look at it. You could raise the bridge up or the elevator up and leave it there. I kind of wanted it down because it's actually one of the easier things to fall, but I could actually put something on it while I make it look like a Sky Striker is taking off. And once again, it goes through everything. Now, once again, the thing about the lights, now we have storage and you can actually see what's underneath it. Something that normally I think most of us would just put stuff underneath our aircraft carrier that we don't want anyone to see. So mostly what I have underneath here are vehicles that aren't complete but are complete enough to display, and or stuff that I really don't care about. The APC over here, it has, it's not fully complete. It actually has the front face of the original APC, even though it's the night one, and it's actually missing a wheel on the back, but you can't see that. It's actually pretty difficult to get out. Now, obviously, you've seen people with this type of stuff, and what they have in here is computer bays, tables, chairs. I haven't gotten around to getting all that yet. I've kind of started putting in some missiles there. Just kind of make it look like they're underneath here chatting. You know, and here's my little SEAL team room, you know, with different weapons. Again, it adds a little bit. And for the most part, this is for us. We like to do, you know, this type of stuff for our own happiness. So anyway, now I'm going to get into how to raise the deck, raise the aircraft carrier. This to me is the most important thing. You can do the lights different ways. Actually, I will show you here what I did on the bridge was I used some dollar store lights that just turn on and off. They had little Velcro strips and just flip them on and off. I wasn't able to do the bottom yet because they just didn't fit. I tried holding on to it, tried getting to hold on, but it just didn't do a good job. So this was the light that I used, and it just moved back and forth. So it actually makes it easy, just kind of reach up there, turn it off. And all you have is a couple little pieces of Velcro sticky tape, and I mean, you can buy that, but it actually came with it. Again, $1 each. If it didn't work, it didn't work. I wasted $3 trying to get it to work. All right, so next step, I'm going to discuss raising the aircraft carrier. Okay, now let's talk about raising the aircraft carrier. Again, I think that is the most important thing, and it's going to be the most time consuming. It's going to take a little bit of money. So spray paint is what I use. You could use regular paint, but it's actually very simple. And if you look online, you'll see what people have done. You have to trace out your frame first. Now, for me, what you can see on my aircraft carrier, and we'll go over it one more time and show you what I did, was I was using a door. And I liked the door because I had actually printed up water to make it look. So I actually cut around it to where the aircraft carrier body would be, so it looks like it's actually floating in water. A lot of people just have a wood piece, probably 1/2 inch, cut around, and then they place their wood on. So what you're going to want for this, if you don't have something like a table already, or you don't have a door like I'm using, you're going to need probably a 1/2 inch piece of plywood, which is probably going to run you around $30 because you're going to want a nice sturdy one. And then all that I needed for the actual, to raise it up, was one 2x6 by 12 foot long. That's going to complete all the pieces that you need. Obviously you're going to need your screws, and then I used just gray primer spray paint. I needed 2 cans because I painted the bottom. The whole door I painted, along with obviously all the wood. If you're going to be placing this, let's say, on top of a table that you have, I don't think you're going to want to paint that, but I could be wrong. It's something you could. But I'm going to guess that if you're doing a piece of wood, putting it on a plank, you're gonna want to paint that, because you're going to want the deck, you're going to want that base to look like the actual aircraft carrier. So anyway, all you're going to do is, once you place the aircraft carrier on it, and this is kind of what's frustrating, is you're going to be taking the aircraft carrier apart a few times. You're going to place it on there, and all you're going to do is just trace around everywhere that you've been. take the aircraft carrier off, take it outside, you're going to measure everything, and you're going to cut all those pieces. Very simple, but make sure that you, make sure when you go through it, you cut them exactly where they need to be. Now you're not going to need to screw it down unless you're going to be moving this thing a lot, because the places, like the way the wood is screwed in, they'll stay in place. So you're good there. I also bought 5 little pieces of wood, they're little sticks, so I could create a border, just so so the border would create around, so I knew exactly, it broke the break between the water and the aircraft carrier. You're also going to need to cut some holes if you want for the door holes, and I'm going to show you exactly what I did through all that, but again, that's all you need. A 2x6x12 and a board, nails, and some gray spray paint primer. I used 2 cans. I would suggest going out with 2 cans. The piece of ply, or the 2x6x12 cost me $15. So right there with the screws, spray paint, you're looking at about $60. Looking at the lights, I spent $25 on these lights, $3 on those lights. You're under $100. It's well worth it. But anyway, let's look at the underbody, and I'll show you what I did quickly. And I hope this helps everyone raise their aircraft carrier to have a nice display. Again, I know people can do a better display than I do because mine's not even 100% complete. I know people have a lot more stuff, and I love to see what other people can do because it's amazing, and it brings a lot of joy to us. So let's get to the underbody of this. Okay, so now let's look at the back of the boat, and all that I did was, as you can see, I cut one piece across here, and then I put these 2 pieces here. Once again, you're not really going to need to secure it because it's going to stay up there on its own. Back of the boat sits perfectly fine on it, and you're good. So this piece here, which is holding up the bridge, is the only piece that kind of stands by itself. That might be the only one that you feel you need to secure, but this is really the last piece that you're going to put on, and this weighs so much that it just sits here and it doesn't even move. The inside here is pretty much like an eye. You can see that I cut a hole here to access. This here, now I use the jigsaw to cut around it so we can look inside it. Eventually I want to have like a computer room or different things like that inside of there. So we move over here, I did the same thing. You can see a little hole over here, so that way you can access it. This here is created like a U, because it's going to hold this, because there's no way this is going to stay up without it. So this is what you're going to be looking at, is probably the most dark place, but nonetheless, it works nice. Let's walk over here. Here's still on the main support. Once again, here's your door. You have a door over here. You have a door. Okay, so here's the front of your boat. This to me is probably the weakest link. Probably should have braided it out longer. And if you're really good with woodworking, you could bring it out, cut around. I'm not that good with that, so I didn't even want to attempt that. But, you know, as you can see where I brought it out again, I'm going to lower both of these and have an anchor here. And then don't forget about this piece right here. There's actually the last piece that I'd forgotten. And it's everything is like 12 feet. And then I had these little pieces. I bought 5 of them. They were $1 each. And they break up to make it look like underneath the boat compared to the water. The water, again, was printed on a Canon printer, on our, not just a printer, but on an actual Canon plotter. And I had it from before, so what I did was I just placed it underneath here, and then I cut along the lines, just like when I grip a skateboard. Cut across the lines, make it look like I have water here. But again, if I didn't have this all here, if I didn't have this door that I was using and I didn't have the water, I probably would have bought a piece of plywood so I could support it right onto it. Probably would have screwed it down, but then it's going to make it difficult to move it when I need to eventually move it. All right, so there you have it. That's what you're looking at. And all you're going to need is, a jigsaw, a circular saw to cut the pieces, measure it all out, and then the jigsaw, if you want doors, which I think most people are going to want to. If you're already investing this much time, I think you should do it. Alright, so there you have it. That's how to raise the aircraft carrier and put on lights. I really hope a lot of you guys go out and try this. It is amazing. You will enjoy it that much more. If you have kids, you can do it with your kids. I think some of them would enjoy it. And there's one thing that I almost forgot to do, was to actually show you what it looks like in the dark. So, let's finish it off with showing you what everything's going to look like when it's in the dark. So if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Like my page. If you're interested in following me on Instagram, my name is Punk Rock Skate Dad on Instagram. And I hope to get some comments from you guys and see what you guys think. Thanks a lot. Have a great night.